Item is the consent agenda. Entertain a motion for that. Test.
I move to approve.
Capacity, but if our lines go down, we don't need that capacity. We can't use that capacity. So, what does a 5 or 10 year agreement look like without capacity to lower that price per kilowatt? So, just so we have all the information before we make this decision on a long term agreement. Glenn, did I capture that correctly?
That's correct. Yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it.
Is there any other questions or
I was, I looked through the GRDA contract, and it struck me that there's no growth language at all in these things. So it's a fixed megawatt hour per day max in a nominal. But you know, we're gonna buy contracts. So do you buy contracts to support your current need, or do you have to buy contracts that's gonna support your growth? If you grow 20%, where do you go? Do you have to go to other places and get new contracts because our current contracts won't support growth?
Yeah, you'd have it. Right now, it's at 3 megawatts, and we've talked to anything 1.5 to 2 to 3. So you're right. It would fix for 25 years at whatever level you chose, and it would not increase.
So what do cities do that have growth and didn't plan their 30-year contracts to cover enough of it?
Right. You'd have to find another source for it, whether it's wind power, or solar, or gas generation, or whatever out there outside of that contract.
And how difficult is that?
Right now, it's not difficult. The problem is getting the fixed price. Right? Nobody wants to
Right.
guarantee. Even the GRDA, as we've said numerous times, actually not. And you look at their prices going forward, they're adding about 1.5% per year for that 5 years, and that's all they would project out to. But it's not really at a set price, so that would escalate over the course of that contract. So. I think the volatile part of it is natural gas, because wind power usually is set for a 20-year contract. Same with solar now. The industrial solar, we saw a 30-year contract. Hydro go out to 50 years on the federal ones. But the one that's volatile is the natural gas. So that's what everybody's telling us right now.
Right.
So hard to get people to commit to long-term contracts.
So I know GRDAs are only base power contract outside of the SPP market, right? It's those two.
We would consider a round-the-clock base load. Yeah.
And I guess the question is, I mean, those seem to be the most difficult to get long-term contracts.
That's correct, yeah.
And are there other, but it's the timing of when they go out for new contracts. I guess it's when current ones fall off, or they build new.
That's exactly.
Build new generation, and they need more customers.
That's right.
So we probably couldn't predict when other entities would have base power to be looking for new customers. There's no way.
That's correct. So what happens is KMEA makes us aware when those come up, like the Pratt Solar Project and other things.
Okay.
And they pop up, and sometimes they can be 2, 3, 4 years out. By the time they even let us know, but that's all up to power suppliers who are out there building.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still wrestling with, if we drop GRDA from 3 to 2 or 3 to 1.5, how much additional solar do we need? And I don't have a good feel for that.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that Jeff will need to talk to. We only have, 2 more meetings on this before we either need to act or not act on this contract, so.
How much solar we need? Right now we have 2 megawatts that one inside the fence, inside the meter, and one outside. The recommendation would be to go to 3 plus the 4 megawatts of storage.
So
Additional 3 or
Additional 3.
got it.
well, I guess the question is, we're only reducing GRDA by maybe 1, possibly 1.5. Why 3 more of solar? I mean,
Yeah, because solar isn't a base load. It's not around the clock.
right. So it's effectively 0 when you need base load. That's my question. Is it's not even comparable necessarily.
Right. That's why it's hard to make those comparisons.
Right.
You were talking about what would it be per megawatt hour if
Yeah.
solar plus the batteries, whatever.
Right.
Because what you're looking at mainly is avoided cost, and honestly, the whole realm has changed, because it used to be just base load, be coal plants, gas, nuclear. With so much wind and renewables now, that you can't call it base load, but it's kind of playing that role.
Right.
And the other things they're filling in.
Right.
So
It's
upside
available
down.
potentially when you need it, but
Right.
not guaranteed.
That's why gas is so valuable right now.
Right. I mean, it's the guarantee that you'd be risking more open market.
Yeah. And back to the capacity conversation, when you shift to a lot of solar like that doesn't come with a lot of capacity, the allure might be to hold on to what you have with your additional generation as well as the GRDA because of the because of the renewables. And Jeff was talking about it probably about a year ago now about the projection for that market for the resale of those capacities. So might be something you want to hold on to in that contract anyway. You can
Which one is
the GRDA. You were talking about doing 5-10 years of GRDA without the capacity.
No, it'd be from a completely different source. They'll only do the 25. What you got in the contract is the only product they will sell you. That's 25 years at 1 meg or whatever megawatts you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. And no, you can't. I think you talk about the RECs. Probably you talk about under solar. Those can be sold on the open market.
No, I'm talking about the capacity.
Oh,
You can,
it's their capacity when we would not be able to.
but it's their capacity for us to count towards our own.
Oh yeah,
So then we could sell our in-house capacity if we were. You see what I'm saying?
correct.
Yeah.
There you could.
And the projection for that market was pretty good because of all the renewables and those don't come with capacity because they're not base load.
Right.
So I just asked Jeff to pull some numbers together. He's working on it, but to me, it's what's our average megawatt hours for a full day of load for the year, and he thought it'd be about 95 megawatt hours. If you do the math, multiply that by 365, you get roughly our 35 million.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
And then he said peak was like 180. So you're going to have some below 95, you're going to have some above it. So I guess to me, you look at the contracts and figure out how do I support that, the average? Do all our contracts support the average? And then how do you handle the peak? Will they do both? So it's
Right.
it's a Rubik's Cube.
Probably the best way to put it. Yes, it's a Rubik's cube. There's no. Like I said, it used to be a lot easier. There was
Yeah.
base load power. You had your plant. They distributed that power. You bought it on a PPA for 20 or 30 years, and I'm not gonna say life was good. It was relatively easy. It was kind of straightforward. But now there's so many variables to it. Now, yes, a Rubik's cube, maybe a three-dimensional Rubik's
Right.
cube might actually.
So KMAA is not involved in anything behind the meter, right?
No, that's all art. They actually helped us manage the construction of our solar field, but that's it.
But the administration fee, those things we pay for contracts that come through them,
Correct.
they don't. That's not part of what they do.
Yeah, so they serve as our power pool is what they do. So all the small cities around us are all in that power pool. So they manage that pool for us. So we optimize all of our contracts. Is what happens on that.
Okay. That's all I have for now.
I think just the biggest thing, Glenn, for next meeting is we just have to have all this data since we have to, the following meeting after that is decision time. So.
Right. Yeah. So that decision's coming on. So yeah, it's going to be a challenge to just present that in a way that makes some sense and covers all of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's a lot of data. It really is. But I think we can present in a way that will lead toward a decision.
Okay.
And any chance to get it to us ahead of it, so we can develop some relevant
Amen,
questions.
yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Glenn on this agenda item? All right, we'll move on to standard traffic ordinance. This is the annual update of our standard traffic ordinance based on changes that the state has made on the state level. It's just adopting it into our ordinance book.
Just an FYI, this was 2024, so we'll have another one mid-year. This should have been done latter part of last year. I did not get them ordered. I didn't have it on my calendar. It is now.
Okay. Anybody from the public like to speak to this agenda item? Seeing none, council discussion? Not, I'll entertain a motion. This is an ordinance, so we'll have to have a roll call vote.
I move to approve the standard traffic ordinance.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Julie?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. Next item is the Uniform Public Offense Code. Same as last time, just different group. Anybody from the public like to speak to this agenda item? Seeing none, council discussion? Not, I will entertain a motion.
I will also move to approve the Uniform Public Offense Code.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Julie?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. Next, KMEA Director appointment. Glenn.
Yes, we always get a couple of directors. It's usually, well, I think we actually get three here. Jerry Smith was one of the KMEA, well, he was served on the KMEA Board of Directors. I don't think he ever attended any meetings or anything. And that's always up to the person who wants to be that director. So we have two council members who are not here tonight. So usually you know what happens. Just saying. No, I'm not going to tell you who appointed that. It's just a board appointment that we get, and you can be as active in the organization as you want. And most of the time, most council members, if they do, they can attend the annual meeting, which is always done in Wichita in September. It's always a great conference, but you don't have to do any of that. So, but we do need to appoint somebody to fill Jerry's seat.
Well, if Julie doesn't want to do it, I'd say Jay's the only other one on the utility committee.
Yeah. I move to appoint Jay to the AMEA Board of Directors, and it's not a big deal because I've been one of the directors.
No, I know. It's just funny.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Congrats, Jay.
That's the only reason I try to come to meetings.
Okay. Last is the ordinance 1508. This is a solid waste collections charge. This is just aligning our ordinance with our contract based on the changes that occurred.
So I asked to send it back to Budget and Finance last meeting, and we did. And the reason was to look at the administration fees to see how we were doing against what we were collecting for that. And I think what we determined is we're probably losing, we're probably not fully covering that. I mean, it's hard to exactly tell. I mean, the rest would come out of the general fund. So, I think we discussed it didn't make sense to lower it beyond the dollar that it is. So keep it there. The only question I had about the ordinance is in the third paragraph, it mentions a service charge of $23.03. I'm not sure what that relates to.
That would just be for your trash can. That's the charge for your trash can, I believe.
No, let me see. Now, if you look down in the collection service charge, it's $23.71 is the new rate with the increase. If you remember, Green Management increased the trash collection by 2.95%, and the same for bulky, and then the recycle went up 5.98%. So with the $1 administration fee, the $23.71 is correct. I don't know what the $23.03 is.
2303 was prior. I did not.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll change that. And the only recommendation I would add is I think we should call out the second cart cost for the trash, the second cart cost for recycle. So it's in there. And, and the cost for the two costs for bulky pickup, which is rolled into, I guess we don't need to include that. It's rolled into the trash. So, but there is a charge if it's over 2 cubic feet. There is a charge.
They get that charge from them.
Yeah. I think that's directly.
They'll give them what that charge is.
Gotcha. Okay. So that's more of a
That's more
One-on-one.
citizen decision. Okay. So I just think you add the second cart so everybody knows what that is for both trash and recycle, if that makes sense.
So the second cart, is that $5?
It was. I think it goes up to. So check my math. Obviously, $5.15. I do the math right. Amber, please check my math. And recycle went up to $12.76.
It has in here $13.78 in the ordinance.
Oh, it's 13. Yeah, that's with the administration fee. So Well, so the cart wouldn't have a second administration fee on it, would it? Or would it? Would it be the same for everything? Okay. So just make those numbers, make those numbers match.
So are you moving for
13.
an amendment
Yeah.
of the ordinance to reflect what you stated?
Yeah, so I just want to,
We'll have to vote on that amendment.
yeah. So as presented, change the 2303 to 2371 in the third paragraph, and then under the section 15-411, everything there's good. We just add the second trash cart would be 616, I believe. Just do the math on whatever that needs to be with the admin fee.
Okay, is that a motion?
And then the recycle, add that, make those match. That is a motion. And accept the contract, or accept the ordinance as presented otherwise.
I'll second it.
Been moved and second to amend ordinance number 1508 as presented. And Julie?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
Motion passes as amended. Okay. Council committee reports, budget and finance. Scott?
Trying to remember if we met. I don't think we had a meeting.
We didn't.
We did not meet, and we're not meeting this Friday. So the next scheduled meeting would be March 7th at 7:45 at second floor City Hall.
7:30.
I said 7:30 last
Said
time.
7:15
Okay.
last time.
I got a lot of pressure for negative pressure for starting early, so I'm creeping it up. 7:30, thank you.
All right, community development, Corey.
We haven't met yet. We meet on the. Oh, sorry, we haven't met yet. We meet on the 24th, 4 o'clock, second floor, City Hall.
There was no public safety committee meeting, and I'm not sure when they meet next, so. March 11th. At 4? At 4 p.m. Second floor, City Hall. Public Works, Julie.
Yeah, we met on the 13th, and the 2025 chip seal list is going out for bids. This is the Phase 6, which will focus on Ames to High and 6th to 10th Street. And they'll be sealing 10th Street and Ames to High. In the last month, city crews have repaired 3 water leaks. The water contracts with Edgerton have been completed. New generation, both units have been tested to full load. Unit 9 ran 90% of full load for over 2 hours. New substation property has an approved contract. And staff and KMEA Mid-States are working on a site plan, and tree removal will be scheduled after the closing of that contract. The RDA, we just talked about that. And renewable energy credits, the staff needs guidance from the council if the RECs are going to be retired or sold or owned. Discussed responsibility and payment of water usage that passes through the meter on the houses. Also talked about putting some clarification in the code for that. And our next meeting is March 13th at 9 o'clock.
All right. And strategic plan, Scott.
We have not met, no meeting on the calendar. We did ask for a strategic planning workshop ahead of the 2026 budget process, so I think you're going to set that. And no, like I said, we'll probably set a follow-up meeting in that committee after the workshop.
City administrator, staff comments?
Just one thing, as you know, we've had some challenging weather here today, and we probably will for the next couple of days. Our public works guys are out there doing their usual excellent job. I think they're out there even as I speak. They were out early this morning, took a break, and they came back here this evening to keep on plowing and treating the streets. Just kind of a warning though, where salt and sand, well, sand will work, salt will not really work very well in this temperatures. So we're still going to have some slick areas out there because of that. So watch out for that. That's it.
All right. Council comments? All right. The only other comment I have is we are going to have a work session on March 25th at 7 o'clock right here on the strategic plan, just for any updates, review, that type of stuff. And then I'd like to go ahead so that your staff is ready, Glenn, your directors, April 22nd for a budget work session here at 7 p.m. Just our kickoff as we usually do before we start the budget season. Does that work for everybody?
Sounds good.
All right. Well, with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. We are adjourned.